Welcome to Hug Nation. It is 1 o'clock on the West Coast. It is Hug Nation time all over the world. If you're watching the archive, well then it's Hug Nation time whenever you are listening to this. This is a vibration. This is a vibration that, just like a sound vibration can be recorded and you can listen to it later, so too can this love vibration be bottled up digitally with bits and bytes and then released into your world. I wanted to start with a story. I believe it's an old Zen story that I believe I heard it from Pema Chodron. She tells a story of a young monk who, after a stay in the monastery, decides to go out into the world. And so he's got his robe and his bare feet and his alms bowl, and he starts walking, and ow, he gets a thorn in his foot. And so he pulls it out and he goes walking, ow, and he hits a rock, and he's like, "Mah." So he thinks of a bright idea, and he starts rolling out leather and starts covering his path with leather so that he won't hurt his feet. And the master comes to the gate and says, "Why don't you wrap your feet?" So often we try to change the world, change the circumstances, change the environment, bulldoze a mountain, change someone's opinion, get a lover to think like we do or do what we are, put their toothpaste back on, put the seat back down, When we do that, we are trying to pave the world with leather, when the only way to really enjoy the path is to change our minds and change the way we interact with the world, the way we see things. It's never the circumstances, it's always the way we see it. So today I want to talk a little bit about ways to wrap your mind with leather. There's been a lot of exciting news in the Burning Man world this year. The ticket sales, the first day of ticket sales was this horrendous situation where people were online all day, and then they got booted in line, and they went through the first 2 tiers. The people that waited in line all day got 3rd-tier tickets. It was crazy. They'd never had so many sales the first day, and people were so angry, and so angry at the ticket people, and this and them and all this, because it didn't go the way they wanted to. And at the time, I made some commentary and some videos about what a wonderful rite of passage this is. What a wonderful teaching experience. And in fact, what a nice little microcosm for what so much of Burning Man is. Yes, Burning Man is a party and art and those things, but it is also a visit to a world that is so different that it gives us the opportunity to let go of all of our old rules. And if we attach ourselves the way we think it should be, it's a tough week in the environment and everything. But if we surrender, then we allow all sorts of magical things to happen. So, the thing that is happening right now, and I talked about last week about the tickets and the frustration and the scalping, and I want to talk a little bit about how important it is when you think the environment isn't the way you want it to, how important it is to be conscious of how you interact with that, how you plot your course. Do you think about the challenges you're having and figure out what's wrong there, or do you figure out what the solution is and go, how can we get there? If you are running towards your cave and a bear is chasing you, you can be thinking, bear, I'm going to get eaten, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be painful, oh my gosh, it's going to be terrible. Or you can be running, oh, my shelter, it's almost there, when I get there I'm going to be able to get warm and it's going to be dry and I'm going to be safe from the bear. In both cases, you're running. Physically, it's the exact same situation. But if you are focused on the bear, you are suffering and feeling the pain and anxiety the entire trip. Whereas if you are focused on the cave, the entire time you're thinking about the pleasantness. Now, I don't want to get all Judeo-Christian on you, but if you apply that to just general principles, that mere change in focus, the same activity, hell, heaven, suffering, hope, maybe not hope, faith. Okay, so how does this apply to tickets, etc.? Well, the thing that happened is there's a lot of people who want to go to Burning Man and do not have tickets now. So the first thing that I started seeing happen is there was this panic. This has never happened before. Now, a lot of people's reaction was, I always get tickets, in the last couple weeks. And there was this feeling, and then there was this reaction of that, of like, well, you should have been reading the Jackrabbit Speaks. And then what happened is the tension just kept getting a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger, a little bit stronger. And so then we have these isolated incidents, these peaks of frustration that become the story that everyone starts talking about. People started scalping tickets at way above face value. Now, in a lot of people's minds, that is very non-burner, very undued. So it is considered the appropriate thing to do to sell it at face value, or your costs. So people were getting very angry, and the people that didn't have tickets were putting all of their attention on the anger towards these scalpers. And then the people that had tickets were kind of like, dude, chill. And I think part of it was a reaction to this angry vibration of saying like, dude, why didn't you plan better? You've had 6 months. It's not like they went on sale secretly and then sold out before you knew it. They've been on sale for 6 months. There's no exclusion happening. There was nobody that was like, came to the, oh, tickets are on sale, went to go buy a ticket, and they said, oh, sorry, you can't have it. You're not rich enough. Now, if you waited 6 months and then they were sold out and then said, I want a ticket for the first tier price, well, it's no longer available. Now, is that exclusionary? I don't think so. While I'm on that, let me just talk about radical inclusion. It's one of the principles of Burning Man. And so some people have used that as part of this argument, which to me doesn't make any sense. Radical inclusion means everyone's invited, everyone's welcome. It doesn't mean there's room for everyone. It means that everyone who comes can express themselves however they want. It means if you want to do Thunderdome, do it. If you want to do fluffy pink couches, do it. If you want to do a sound camp, do it. If you want to do yoga camp, do it. We're radically inclusive. It doesn't mean that if you don't have money for a ticket, you can just show up. It's a misunderstanding of radical inclusion. Unfortunately, as it did sell out, and then there was scalping, and then there was this peaks of frustration that became very visible. So we have this city of 50,000 people, and dozens of people very angry, maybe 100 people. Maybe we've even got, let's say we've got 100 scalpers. What city of 50,000 doesn't have 100 people who are trying to, leech? So it becomes a story, and it becomes in the news. And if you start looking, there's, I saw the LA, I'm not sure what, a number of publications did articles, including TV news, about the sellout, and that's changing everything, and selling out literally and figuratively. It's like, how does people scalping it mean that it's selling out? Very frustrating to me. But then I remembered that this is what we do. This is what news is. In a day filled with sunshine, in a day filled with photosynthesis and babies being born and dream jobs happening and people falling in love and all sorts of success and beauty and love and harmony, in a day filled with that all over the world, the news, what we put our attention on and we share with people and we post on our walls, is the few things going wrong. There was a time, I think it was in 07 maybe it was 08 in Burning Man, when the Associated Press, the story they did on Burning Man, let me just show you what it said. It said, "Dust disrupts Burning Man. A dust storm disrupted the Burning Man Festival in Nevada on Saturday," a spokesman for the Federal Bureau. Seriously? Dust disrupts Burning Man? That's like saying, sunshine disrupts baseball game. That's crazy. But that's what the news does. It's kind of like, I love the Bill Hicks quote.
You never see positive drug stories on the news, do you? Isn't that weird? Since most of the experiences I've had on drugs were real fucking positive. Always that same LSD story, you've all seen it. Young man on acid thought he could fly, jumped out of a building. What a tragedy. What a dick. Fuck him. He's an idiot. If he thought he could fly, why didn't he take off on the ground first? How about a positive LSD story? Wouldn't that be newsworthy just once? To base your decision on information rather than scare tactics and superstitions and lies? Just once. I think it would be newsworthy. Today, a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather.
And I kind of feel like that's what we're doing with Burning Man. We're telling the story about the guy jumping out the window. And that guy's a dick, as Bill Hicks says. The guy scalping's a dick. That's not the story of Burning Man. The story of Burning Man is the... After hearing this over and over, and hearing scalping, that became the news. So last night, I created a Facebook event saying thank you to people who are selling their Burning Man tickets at face value. Because I know it's happening. And people have been posting examples of burners who have made the conscious choice to sell their ticket at below its market value, merely because their principles say that's the right thing to do. That is fucking news! That is news. People making a choice like that. So, it's all about focus. It's all about perspective. I talk all the time, and I bring this up all the time, and I'll say it again. At every moment of your life, you got an ice cream cone in your hand, and you got one foot in dog shit. And the degree in which you enjoy your life is determined by where you focus your attention. Yes, there are people without tickets right now. There are scalpers happening. There is shit on my shoe. Yes, at the same time, there are incredible people who are choosing to sell their tickets at face value or less because they want to gift someone. They want to get that joy of doing the right thing. Can't we give awards of excellence to those people instead of just the people who hit their sales goal by any means necessary? Getting a little riled up. Sorry. Let me just take some ice cream. So much cone. So much cone. It's very addictive. It's very enticing to want to focus on the shit. People will often set down their ice cream cone just to focus and tell people, oh my gosh, they're scalpers. It's going for $1,000 million zillion, and they're selling tickets and then coming to your house and raping your cat. You know, it's like, wow, that's horrible. That's the kind of thing that we should share that. We should let me put an update on my Facebook page. Make sure people know I'm helping. There's a great quote Jacob Glass said in a lecture recently. He said, people think they're being Paul Revere, but they're really being Chicken Little. I love that. Now, that isn't to say that there aren't times when you need to share bad things. But here's the thing. There's a big difference between saying, the sky is falling, and saying, a storm's a-coming, there's shelter over there, stay out of that area because it's low ground and it's going to flood first. Just as I was talking about this yesterday, I had an example. We were talking about the difference between being alarmist and educating or providing an opportunity. And just when I was doing this, my friend Hollis posted on my wall a link to kiva.org, which is the micro-lending. And it was like, yes, here's a perfect example of there is change. We're in a place where we can do better. So we can yell about what's bad, or we can show people the steps to get there. And even better than that, which is what I loved what she did, is she said, look at the path I'm on. Inspire me. So, while it's unfortunate that occasionally dust will disrupt Burning Man, we got to remember that thoughts, news, information, all of that thing is hinged on the source. And none of it can really affect you in a negative way unless you let it. Byron Katie talks so much about learning to love reality. Buddhism talks so much about non-attachment. It is when we can float, when we can be in the Tao, when we can allow the situation, when we can let go of the way we think it's supposed to be, that then suddenly we can be at peace. We can be in a place where we can actually make change that is positive. If you're too in fear, you're never going to get to the positive place. You're never going to, no one is going to be inspired to give you a ticket if you are yelling about how horrible it is and how everyone's screwing you. You're not a compelling target for goodness. You are not a vibrational match with love and gifting and compassion and abundance. So, the truth is, there are people that want to go to Burning Man that are not going to be able to. The truth is also that there are a lot of people that don't have tickets now that will get them. Many of them for cost or less. So, what is the bell that we want to ring? What is the news that we want to spread? What is the world that we want to live in? Because you only have a finite amount of moments and an infinite number of things to put your attention on. I invite you to pay attention to the miracles, to the people making a choice to make actions based on their ideals. And I invite you to be one of those people. Because then no matter what happens, no matter what the consequences are, whenever the outcome is, you are in total control of the way you live your life and the way you judge your life. And if you simply walk in your truth, no circumstance, no obstacle can change the fact that you are doing the right thing, being a person, living your ideal, being your best self. And nothing can knock you from that. No person, no news, no alarmist. And what's amazing is if you can really get into that space where you just simply, your whole goal is to be the best you as possible, live according to your values, then when you let go of your attachment the way it's supposed to be and you stop fighting the current, magical things happen. The playa magic that is so powerfully true out there is because people surrender to it. And when you can do it in the default world, it will bring you to where you want to be, to the people you need to know, maybe even to the ticket that will get you to the place you're supposed to be. Maybe that's the playa, but maybe not. A coward dies 1,000 deaths, and a hero dies just one. Shakespeare. As you're running from that bear, do you want to be dying the entire time? Or only that one moment when it catches you, if it catches you? Because what a waste that'll be if you get to your cave and you're chilling in your plush cave and realize, wow, I just spent the last hour panicking and it did me no good. So I invite you to join me to focus on the ice cream, thank and exalt and reward and the people who are making choices that are outside of our status quo measuring sticks, and try to steer us all in the direction of, let's lead by example. Let's inspire by our actions. Let's be the change. Thank you for allowing me to share this and be a part of this vibrational tune-up, recalibration. I hope I see you where I am supposed to. Maybe in the dust, maybe online, maybe in the streets, maybe somewhere magical that I can't even comprehend. I love you. Namaste.
You only live once. Enjoy the color.